So all of our Unboxed fans have seen a lot of scenery from our visual collections and our manuscript collections, but our Library and Archives also has a vast amount of printed collections. We have contemporary titles, and we have rare books, and we have everything in between. We even have really, really tiny little books.
The term rare book is hard to define as it changes depending on location and collecting institution. Often, books are considered rare due to their age, who published it, and their provenance, or the record of who previously owned the book. At the Indiana Historical Society, books must have clear Indiana connections. Today, the Society collects books of all time periods up to the present day. But for most of its history, the Society focused on collecting pre-Civil War era materials. Books can also be considered rare due to how they look. According to the American Antiquarian Society, books are considered miniature if they are 75 millimeters or 3 inches in height or smaller. One of the smallest books at IHS is this 1977 copy of General Lew Wallace's Ben-Hur, which stands at just 20 millimeters tall. Portable forms of writing like carved stones and knotted rope have been used since the earliest forms of written language began. Paper books only became popular starting in the Middle Ages, as travel expanded, as well as the ability to print. Over 1 million miniature copies of the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared the freedom of enslaved Americans, were distributed to Union soldiers during the Civil War. These copies were just over 3 inches tall and were the first versions of the proclamation to be produced. Into the 20th century, miniature books were still being published, mainly by collectors and private publishers. ABCs for Book Lovers, published in 1992 by Sandlin's Books and Bindery in Valparaiso, Indiana, is a love letter to bookmakers that shows off aspects of the process, including types of materials and lingo. Only 200 copies of this book exist in the world, and it is a great example of the labor that goes into bookmaking. Books at IHS are also considered rare because of their illustrations. Older books, like this 1800s copy of Fables for the Young, likely included images made using hand-carved wooden or metal stamps. Some illustrated books, like this 1893 work by Simon Pokagon of the Pokagon Band of Potawatomi Indians, are impressive because of the materials used to make them. This book was printed on white birch bark to represent Pokagon's Potawatomi culture and highlight the disappearance of the trees in Michigan. Gustav Baumann, a German immigrant who started his artistic career in Brown County, Indiana, has a number of illustrated books in the collection. This 1929 book, Chips and Shavings, highlights the carpentry process of woodcut stamps. Baumann also illustrated a number of books by James Whitcomb Riley, like All the Year Round, which features 15 beautifully colored images of different months of the year. The collection is also home to translated works by Riley, like this 1914 collection of poems in Braille that was published by the press at the Western Pennsylvania Institute for the Blind. Another category of rare books in the collection are books translated in languages other than English. There are copies of famous early 20th century author Booth Tarkington's books in languages like Swedish and Chinese. This 1844 translation of the Gospel according to Matthew is in the Potawatomi language, translated by Johnston Likens, a white Baptist missionary who worked in Indiana for over 12 years. This book was published by the American Indiana Mission Association, which facilitated the Christianization of indigenous tribes as they were forcibly removed from their homes towards the western United States. Books at the Indiana Historical Society come in all shapes and sizes and can tell us about the interests of the people who made them. Why do you think books look the way they do today? Why are people interested in special edition books? Which of the books we saw today would you like to see in person? Thank you for watching, and we hope you join us for what we unbox next.